It's the weekend. It's Mailbag. The sun's shining. Things don't look too bad at Everton, and I am joined this week by Dave, Warren, and Sam. What could be finer? Right, we'll get straight into it. So, hot topic. Pretty obvious where this has come from. What's in your manifesto? Who wants to go first?
Well, I mean, just on election season. I don't know about you lot, but it's miserable, isn't it?
Oh, it's
It's just
horrible.
Yeah,
it's just miserable. It's like for me, it's like, do you know that Simpsons where Kang and Kodos are they kidnap Bush and what was his name? The president, the nominee at the time for the US election. What was his name? Bob Dole.
oh yeah.
You know where they kidnap them and they become Dole and Clinton, and then
Mhm.
Homer reveals them to be Kang and Kodos, and then he's like, doesn't matter who you vote for, it's going to be exactly the same. That feels
Yeah.
like a bit this election. Feels like I'm voting for either Kang or Kodos. So yeah, it's
They
just
probably
been
be better,
miserable.
to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just yeah.
I
Normally
reckon
as well, do you know, like actual election night, I like a little bit of staying up and watching it, the swingometer, all that. Like, got no
Yeah.
interest this time. No interest
yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah, I
My
think
manifest. Go on,
I was
Dave.
just going to say, mate. I think the US one's more interesting, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
it's proper like good against the evil. Well, not great against the evil, really, isn't it?
Evil against not so
An
much evil.
absence. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a sort of evil against like vague neutrality. It's
Yeah,
You could say that. It just I've been watching everything along the way. Been really interested in it, to be honest with you, in quite a sad way. Watching everything on Thursday night question time, which has been mad because it's on at 8 o'clock, and you normally used to staying up to watch it. I'm watching it the other night there, and you sort of you wince quite a lot of what they say in relation to questions, and I'm thinking, how have they warmed up for this? How have they gone with PR or whatever to talk about what you're going to be thrown at you straight away? I mean, watching Sunak and some of the things that were said to him, surely that's the sort of thing you're going to expect,
The
and
thing
yet he
is,
just looks so blank on the face, and when he's replying to people who are getting quite angry, he's like, look, you look at his face and you think he's just not. He just doesn't look like he's even thought he's going to get a question thrown at him like that.
he looks
you can
like an
see it
Everton
though.
midfielder. He looks like an Everton midfielder in the middle of the Lampard second season. Not interested.
just completely vacant. I mean,
Yeah,
it's all right for him, isn't it? He's off to California. He's going to have a better quality of life than he's ever had.
But it's one of them, isn't it? You think, why didn't you just do that years ago, mate? Like, you
yeah.
don't need this.
No,
Just,
I think that's an
just go and be
excellent
a
point.
tech
That
bro.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Times when I've seen the answer to his questions and things, and I've thought some of them are that bad. I've thought he doesn't really give a shit, this fella, because he's off. He's bought some new shorts and some flip flops, and he did it yesterday, and he's getting off the day after. What, on the 5th of July, never to be seen again. Is it really that hard of a gig that he's got going on? Because he knows they're not going to get back in.
I reckon
I think it's pretty straightforward for him, isn't it? Really?
this is like a public school thing. I reckon like the only way you're going to be the one in your class who is meaningfully sort of professionally achieved is if you get to be prime minister.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
once he's sort of ticked that off, and now is happy to jib it.
yeah. Go and join
It's like
Facebook or something.
yeah, yeah, done a thing. Like when Boris Johnson became prime minister, he wanted to do it to tick off his list, but he absolutely loathed it
Yeah,
because he was earning loads less, he was working loads more. He loved the idea of it, didn't want to actually do the job.
yeah. I definitely think the money kind of shocked them there, didn't it?
The
I
one
Yeah.
was like,
good thing
hang on
that
a minute,
comes out.
what? How much? I could earn way more than this.
Yeah, yeah. The good thing that comes out is seeing all the different MPs doing the campaigns and coming out with the cheesy videos. I don't know if there was one a couple of years ago. Do you remember that one called Greg Knight? I think his name was, and
Oh
he
yeah,
created a little tune at the start and all that.
yeah.
I'm all for that. There was a woman on yesterday. I don't know what constituents she was looking at getting sort of taken round on the leaflets that she's got, right, and the leaflet says, "I've been endorsed by Boris Johnson." Who's the other one? Mercer.
Oh yeah,
And
Tony
I
Mercer.
forgot who the other one was. Oh, and Liz Truss, and it's got pictures of the three of them on the front of the leaflet saying, "I'm endorsed by these three." And you should have seen the replies on social media, and I was thinking, this is absolutely amazing. I'd rather watch coverage of that. I'd rather see it like transfer window on Sky than I am actually watching who gets voted in.
As put those three on, you might as well put Fred West, Rose West, and Harold Shipman. You might as well, mightn't you? Because it's going to make it popular.
It only counts. Your Johnny Mercer endorsement only counts if he does it in the Plymouth Herald comment section.
Right, Warren, what's in your manifesto? Go ahead.
Well, I always try to be positive or progressive with things. So, for instance, I wouldn't be like, ban this, ban that, get rid of this, get rid of that, even though there's things I would like to get rid of. But we were just talking about it then, pre-recording, 4-day week. I think the 4-day week would have loads of benefits. I think imagine knowing you've got a 3-day weekend as well. You know what it's like when bank holidays come round. It's great.
What day would you take?
Oh, see, there's an argument for Wednesday because I know Dave's shaking his head there, but there is an argument because you think get Monday, Tuesday out there, you got that little break in the middle, and then you got your weekend coming up. But I think the 3-day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday sort of become, or do you have the Monday off and get
Monday for me all day?
No, I'd take Friday off, mate. I feel like you could go. You've got a constant bank holiday weekend with having it as a Friday instead of a Monday. I think Monday, you're sort of ingrained with Monday for your entire lifetime of that being a working day. You take a Friday off. I mean, like when I go into Friday to work, I feel okay. Fridays feel all right because you're like, this the end of the day's coming, at the end of the week's coming at the end of the day. But if you eliminated that, I'd love like going for a bevy on a Thursday night and something nice for me and then have 3 nights off.
Counterpoint for me, Sunday nights are great for bevying.
I was going to say this when you said about bank holidays, because if it's been a long weekend, people forget that they're working on Monday, so they get on it at like midday on a Sunday, and I don't know, it like there's no logic to that, but people just power on through. They just roll on through all weekend.
I think it's it'd be interesting to do a poll on the social media that lets you know, seeing who prefer what day they take away if they could.
We'll do that. I
think whatever you know, whatever happens, which I don't think it will, but if it ever did, I mean, there's some countries who adopt it now, isn't there? Some Scandinavian countries do it, and they've reported like record high work productivity and things like that. I think if it was to come in, I think you would see that. I think you'd see people not as down and as tired. I think it'd have a good effect on. I mean, of course, we never want to go through a lockdown again, but you know, those first couple of weeks of lockdown where it was like, I haven't got to do anything here. This is great. And like we were joking about it in work the other day. We were like so stressed and tired. We were like, could do with another lockdown, you know, just for 3 weeks. Just to have a 3-week
do you know
break.
what? I'd bring a lockdown in every year.
Just like for like 2 weeks or something.
1 month every year. You can't do anything. You can't go anywhere. Just
January every year or something. Just everyone gets January off. Just get that month out the way. Yeah.
The thing I think people have forgotten about, like, I think there's little aspects of lockdown we've forgotten about, and the one that keeps reoccurring to me is do you remember none of us were used to lying in, so we all had mad dreams at like 10 in the morning. We all had like these insane like fever dreams because we just weren't used to having indefinite lies in,
and we were all healthy. We were all healthy because we were exercising, and then we were going cycling, and we were running, and we were jogging, and we were doing everything because we had nothing else to do.
Mate, that's spot on, you know, because the day, about a week after it started, and you were like, so it felt like watching Walking Dead, obviously without the gore and violence and deaths and stuff like that. And I got a new bike, and like I said, there's no cars on the road. And where I live here, West Derby, there's a big long on Liverpool Road. It's about 4 miles long, and every single day I got up and just did that. Wasn't worried about looking for a car, you know, when you're just cycling and you're watching to see if there's any one of the traffic lights and all that. You just do what you wanted to. Seen kids playing footy in the middle of the road and all that. And I was like, I could live with this, you know what I mean? Obviously, aside from the illness that came with it, but I wouldn't mind throwing a bit of that back in. The other thing that I'd throw in my manifesto is footy, Premier League footy all year round, 12 months a year, the whole thing. Split your 38 game season across 12 months.
So we have a few weekends off. I could live with that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, instead of playing, I'd also get rid of international breaks. International breaks and international games
International breaks need
that aren't
bin in
seasons,
because it is literally every time you're just getting into the swing of it. You just like, oh no, I'm really enjoying. Oh, it's international week.
That September one.
2 weeks till
That
a game.
September one's the worst, where it's like the season's just started. Here we go. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they've started to. I know they've done it in the rest of the European leagues, but they start doing this winter break now, which is like 9 days or whatever it is. That's an awkward one because I know people say, oh, you know, and teams are moaning, and obviously players and managers are moaning about it. But when there were so many games over Christmas, I remember, I think it was like 02, 03, or maybe 03, 04, where they did the old-fashioned game after the next day. So you play like Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Saturday sometimes. Remember one particular season, and it just seemed to have every single top 6 playing against each other for like, you know, something silly like 6 games in 3 weeks or something like that. And I thought I could do this for Christmas. You know what I mean? This is really good at Christmas, but I completely agree with what you're saying there about the international breaks. I mean, especially when they're friendlies.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a bit. We had this conversation a few times, didn't we, Warren, in recent weeks about international tournaments and the Euros. I can give it or leave it, to be honest with you, but I've enjoyed it so far because it's here. When it's not, if you said to me it wasn't on, I wouldn't be too bothered. I'm not bothered about next year when there's no international tournament on.
I know, I love tournaments.
I think when they arrive, I do, but if you start telling me, like, I think, you know what, I don't like international football. I can't really stand international football. That said, I was really looking forward to France against the Netherlands last night, and it was an absolute stinker.
It's a letdown, wasn't it? Yeah.
I thought the first half was all right, and then
if that goal should have counted, which it should have, well, we had an argue about this last night. If that Netherlands goal was counted, it would have opened the game right up, and everyone would be just sort of be end to end with France and all that. But they seem comfortable getting a draw because it's the group stages and they're both going to go through anyway.
On the other hand, Van Dijk and Koeman were really miserable, presumably.
That's all I wanted.
That just overrides it for me.
It always looks like it always looks like there's the right on the edge of a kickoff at the Netherlands, doesn't it? It always looks like there's going to be some sort of man. France are the same, nearly that as well.
Except all of them are the big bloke with the Netherlands. That's the problem.
Yeah,
you know which way they're all going.
Yeah,
it's like there's no group of players on earth who are more on the edge than Dutch players.
No,
they all seem on the cusp. I've just thought of another thing for the manifesto as well. I would abolish New Year's Day games. I don't think anyone gets anything.
Is that just based on Leicester, the infamous Leicester? Is it just based on that?
No, just on the fact that I hate New Year's Day games. Like even if it's a 3 o'clock kickoff or a 5 o'clock kickoff,
can't be asked.
I'm in no mood to be going the game on New Year's Day.
No,
I just want to stay.
Anything post Boxing Day, it should leave it then till the third round of the FA Cup.
So you're having that as your winter break then.
Just don't.
Play a Saturday in between.
Yeah.
But I'll do that. Sam, you got anything?
I do think it's so unfair the way it's done as well, where it's like, teams are sort of just bounce one after the other. Do you know what I mean? So say you've got like Man City will play on the 23rd, but won't have a Boxing Day game and then play on the 27th and all that. It looks like you can actually say, well, they've got a better deal than you type of thing. I'm sounding like Klopp there, sorry.
No, it's true though, isn't it?
Okay, so my one, like how people used to win castles off each other in battle.
Yeah.
So if you're a landlord, you can be a landlord, I guess. We can't stop you, but anyone is allowed to come along and win your properties in a fight.
Oh yes. You could televise that as well.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Starmer was talking about the other night, by the way?
If Starmer's bringing this in, I will actually vote.
They've not got a difficult job, have they? If they threw something like that in, that's a vote winner for loads of us.
Yeah.
Be great to see a few decent scraps as well, wouldn't it?
That's very what's that film? Is it The Purge?
Yeah.
That's very like Purge mentality. I think I like it.
Yeah,
think
the
I like
purge
it.
night, every renter has the chance to win their property.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, off the landlord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what's
Oh, wow,
like
yeah.
just throw different things in, like a game of footy or something like that. Do you know what I mean? 11-a-side game for someone's house or something like that.
No,
Yeah,
you've got to fight.
but
mix
no
it up.
rules, no cards involved, so it can just be as violent as possible.
Yeah, I love
I think
that
the
idea.
violence element's the key to this, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was abolished private landlords, but your idea is much better. I was thinking abolish private schools, but I reckon just regular straighteners between private school kids and state school kids, like it
Game
should
Yeah.
be, like it always used to be.
Do you know what? We couple of years, was it last year or the summer before? So all the we have cricket fixtures, but our kids aren't very good. They love the football and they're good at the football, but cricket, forget about it. And they're the type of kids who like they wear the PE kit, and then you go to these private schools. So we went to one not far, and they've all got the whites on, and they've all got that and whatever. And they all do us all the sandwiches and the food and everything in the pavilion they've got and all whatever. And a couple of their kids were mouthing off at our kids, you know, your crap and all that sort of. They're not like that, but in a posh way. Do you know what I mean? And
do
and
it.
their
Please do
and
it.
their and their teacher just said, "Listen," it made me laugh. And he was a posh boy as well, but he said, "Listen," he said, "if it was football, they batter you, and if it was a fight, they batter you. So just be quiet, sort of thing." And I stood there and I just thought, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. Our kids would like be the type of kids who'd throw stones at you. Do you know what I mean? So shut up. But yeah, you do. Yeah, I think get rid of public schools is a great shout.
Yeah, bang it. And my final one was discounted the cost for everyone, which I think would be fair enough.
Mm.
Nice.
Bang it for that.
What was yours, Les? Sorry, say that again.
Discount the cost.
Yeah.
So-
Fair. That's a good one, mate. Yeah.
Tangled Up in Blue said about this question, this makes me think of my brother knows Karl Marx. He met him eating mushrooms in the People's Park. Anyone know what that's from?
Stumped.
Say it again. What was the question?
My brother knows Karl Marx. He met him eating mushrooms in the People's Park. Do you remember the song "Where's Me Jumper"?
Oh my God,
By
really?
Something to Think. That's out of that, yeah.
Is it?
What a shout! Liam said keep kits for 2 years at least. I agree with this one.
Yeah.
Release home away kits in alternate years, like the 90s.
It
And
should
don't
be
get Castora. You can't change it. You can't change who your brand are.
that should be like a because Brentford do it. Brentford do
Yeah.
this where they don't change the kits every 2 years. That should be a staple because you've got something that lasts for a while and it's not going to go out of date for at least 2 years. B, it's more affordable in this current financial climate, Les.
Yeah.
And then C, when the new kits come out, you're absolutely like, I don't care anymore. I'm not bothered. I don't care. But when they come out every 2 years, you're a bit, and you could, I think we've said this before, you could do it alternate. So you could have a new home kit every 2 years. But in that middle year, you could have your new away kit.
Yes, you get a new kit every year.
You still get a new
alternate.
kit, but it's just instead of 3 new kits every year, you get, 1.
I agree.
There was a lad in my gym. I've probably said this before. There was a lad in my gym who had and it's weird seeing an Everton shirt in Manchester, where I live anyway. But he had a Everton third kit, the black one, with Zuma on the back. And I bet Kurt Zuma doesn't own one of those. Like I don't it would baffle me every time. I'm like, I just don't know how you came to own that.
Yeah. Did you go out and get Kurt Zuma's name on the back of your shirt?
Yeah.
Quite interesting, isn't it, when you see like odd names, like people with like Alexanderson on the back of the top. It's like, why did you pay for that on the back of your shirt?
Yeah, I can't remember. Like I'm thinking that's a good shout to everyone that's to listen or watching this. What's the most obscure name you had on the back of your shirt that you actually paid for though?
Mm.
That you'd actually go into like JJB Sports and get it put on the back.
I never have done. I was a bit too old.
Yeah,
I think when names came in to do
You
that.
were too old when numbers came in, you.
I was actually, yeah. Right. Bit of soccer chat, Martin. Looking at the proposed new owner, do you think he will offer more stability and direction moving forward? I think we're assuming that your man Friedkin's going to get it. Also, do you think it will be completed reasonably quickly? No, this is Everton.
No.
Of course it won't be.
5 years at least.
But I mean, I think you did some stuff on this in the week, Dave. From what I've seen, it all looks very promising.
They seem very promising, yeah. I mean, obviously, you take everything with a pinch of salt, the way we are. The first thing anybody that tries to come and buy us, I always think, why are they doing
Why?
that? Well, why would you want to buy Everton's the first thing that I've got in my mind. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, these, given what's happened with Roma aren't like taking mobs to try and get rid of them and things like that, and like 77999 or whatever they were called. And these seem the real deal. You look at what's behind him. You look at, he seems like a normal person as well, because he was actually celebrating with his team on the pitch, and doesn't seems fine to talk about it and stuff like that. Cautiously optimistic. I keep on banging on that sort of phrase towards it, but that's how I feel right now. The only caveat that comes with that is they're not going to get in before a week's time, where we have to get rid of one of our players effectively. You know, if they get in, it's similar to what with Newcastle. Theirs came in just before the transfer window ended. I think it was at the start of the season a couple of years ago, and basically it was a rush round as they're trying to find the best player that you possibly could. If we got ours in the next, well, when's the transfer window finish? 1st of September.
Out there, isn't it? Yeah.
If they were owners of our club, if they're at the 94%, I mean, financially, I'm no expert in it, but the ones we've spoken to, I mean, the diligence stuff and all that, it takes a hell of a long time. So, I mean, I'd be delighted if they were in before the transfer window ended. But then, you know, there's things further down the line that you're like, how much are we allowed to spend? Is there still PSR crap and all that? There's a lot of things to work out, but in a shorter answer to that question, yeah, I'm quite optimistic about it.
What I'm finding weird as well is that we seem to be, I know we're linked with a lot of players, and like you take that with a pinch of salt, but I think we've done that deal from the lad from Villa. I'm going to call him for now until I work out how to say his name.
Tim.
So I mean that in itself seems a bit odd, doesn't it? That we're making moves, but I've heard, I don't know how true it is as well, that that's kind of sort of settled our PSR thing and Villa's as well. The fact that we've both done this deal.
There's a
which
piece
is great,
in The Athletic about it that's pretty good.
Yeah,
because they're both young English players.
Yeah, basically it's just full profit for both clubs, isn't it? On the payments,
on
so
the balance sheets,
yeah. Which I mean,
how are we throwing 10 million at it?
Dave, there won't even be money exchanging hands. I can't.
No.
It'll just be on the accounts that he cost that and he cost that. I bet you they're both going either side free.
Maybe that's what is the thing that actually helps them out. If you say we're signing a player for 10 million, you can, like, Villa can put on their books. We've brought in 10 million, and we can do the same if Dublin goes their way.
Yeah, and this is what football's all about, isn't it? This is why we all love it.
Shite.
Yeah.
Anyone else got any thoughts on the proposed new owners? I'm really quite excited. Like against me better judgment, I'm looking at this thinking, yeah, apart from like the old billionaires are bastards rule, these actually look really good and like what they're doing.
I think if we get a season where it's just calm, serenity, and we go through and we get 40 points, and we're not talking about what's going on behind the scenes, that's when I'll start feeling excited.
Yeah,
I'm with Dave, and I think that phrase is going to be like bandied about a lot, but that cautiously optimistic phrase. He's obviously coming in. He's got a plan. He sounds like he knows what he's doing. He doesn't sound like he's going to be the way Mashiri was, this Hollywood style. He wanted this Hollywood manager. He wanted this Hollywood players, throwing money at everything. It doesn't sound like it's going to be that way. And I keep banging on about it, but we've got to be a Premier League club by the time we move to that ground. And I think if that happens, that's when I'll start feeling a bit more positive. But I think at the minute, I just want a calm, no frills, finishing 10th place season or 15th, whatever it'll be.
Well, he's got a few years. Sorry, Sam.
So it is like the adults are back in the room. I know that was like, when that was in politics, that was bad. But actually, no, I'm quite happy to have the adults back in the room.
Yeah, definitely.
Could be a really bad or like quite fearful way of saying it, but you've got the perfect example to just do the absolute opposite of what's gone on in the last 8 or 9 years with the fellow we've currently got as our owner. It seems people might be getting this out again in a couple of years' time, but it seems like it can't go wrong in regards to the players we have on the pitch and some sort of decent recruitment idea. That feels like it should be like us four could rock in there and do a much better job than what Mashiri had to when he's asking some fella in boozers who we should go and sign and things like that.
It's the famous, what would the Everton board do, isn't it?
Yeah, and also probably it's in my sort of dream, like, but I reckon Lukaku might have a chance to get Lukaku back because he was there on loan from Chelsea.
Yeah,
Do you know
I
what?
want Lukaku and Mourinho in charge as well.
Do you know how many summers in a row now have we gone into? We've gone like, oh, I've just made up to not have to put up with Everton, like, because they've just got to us that much the last few years. We have a nice season, i.e., calm, not much happens. It's just a regular season where we do all right. We get to 40 points. Getting a bit ahead of myself here, but next summer could be the first summer where we're actually like, who are we going to sign? Can't wait for this season. We might have a chance of climbing up the tip. It might get that way. Still a long way off, but if that happens this season, this time next year, we could be talking like that. So we'll see if it all goes to plan and we all goes the way we want it to. That might be the case for the year after.
Yeah,
And that's coming off the back of 777, and it felt like there was a realistic chance we wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Careful what you wish for, isn't it, really?
Another one of those Everton cliches.
That's it, yeah. Get a tattoo on it.
First question. Actually, so we'll come to that now. What's the worst tattoo you've ever seen? That's off Ben. And Ben said, apart from whatever this is, looking at those bands on Joe Hart's arm.
Oh, yeah, that's a bit weird,
It looks like, do you know the way keepers put like tape around the wrist and their arm?
Yeah.
It looks like he's just had that tattooed on because he can't be off putting the tape on.
Very strange. Kids just coloured it in for him or something.
Yeah.
That bad.
So I asked Joe this, and he said Lionel Messi is sort of blacked out leg, which is dead weird. He had a little tattoos on his leg, didn't he?
Yeah.
Messi, and he just got the whole leg blacked out.
I do think,
Really
I think I've seen your legs, Les, but I'm not sure I've seen your legs, Warren, but please don't take offence to this. But, you know, when you get loads of, like, tattoos on people's legs, and again, people who've got it, please don't take offence to this, but I just think your leg looks quite dirty, really, because you can't really see what it is, because it's in, like, you're like, oh, can I have a look at that? Oh, yeah. But in general, tattoos, the worst, I think, as well, is Ederson. Funny thing with City goalkeepers then, maybe. Ederson, which he has it all the way up to the top of his neck. I'm like, why have you filled your whole body? Feels like Michael Schofield on Prison Break.
Yeah. I always look at stuff like that, and I do that really old person think, oh, you're going to regret that when you're older.
Oh, can you imagine what his skin, you know, when he goes like all like frail and wrinkly in like, I don't know how long time, and you're thinking, what does that actually look like now? But then again, I can't say anything because you've seen my little crap tattoo, haven't you, that I got when I was 16 and bladdered. So, you know, can't really complain.
I think the worst one I've seen was in the gym years ago in the changes, and there was some fella in there, and he must have been about, I'm gonna say between 40 and 50, and on his back, he wasn't in great shape, and on his back he had on one shoulder blade Sweetie Pie as a devil, and on the other shoulder blade Sweetie Pie as an angel. And it was just like clocked his back. I was like,
when did you get that done, mate?
Under what circumstances do you think that would look class? It was so bad.
I'd look at it great for 5 minutes, thinking have a look at this to all my mates, and then it'd be like, yeah, why have I done this? What have I done this for?
Unless he's just gone in and gone, I'll tell you what, I'll have a 33 and a 29, please. And he's just been stitched up completely.
I'd love to speak to people who do the tattoos, you know, people, what they call tattoo artists. I'd love to hear some of their stories that people just come in bladdered. Because they must do, mustn't they? Like, you get all this
yeah. Well,
I
don't think they're meant to do it, are they? If you
well, I was going to say,
sign a contract.
If someone comes in and said, look, I want this one done here for 200 quid, and he's pissed, you're not going to say no if it's your business, are you?
Yeah, I always think as well, if I went in and asked for an Everton one, I'd get some cop-eye tattoo artist who draw like a Liverpool badge on instead.
That's why I got my Everton ones on in America.
Where is your Everton one on your body, one? Oh, nice, mate. Love that. Thought you were going to take your kecks off then.
No. So that I wanted something. It looks massive on that camera, but it's not that big. But I wanted just. I didn't want the full crest. I just wanted that wouldn't have made good radio. Then listening to that, I've just got the tower with the reeds and then EFC underneath. But what was great when I got mine done in the States for that reason, Les. I thought I don't want some cop-out doing it and messing it up. And when I got it done, I give the fella an idea of what I wanted, showed him an image of something I wanted. And I had to do that thing where you sign the thing and you don't come back till a week later in case you change your mind and all that sort of thing. So I came back a week later, and he said to me, he went, I've been doing a bit of research into it. He said, I think I didn't say anything to him. I just showed him an image. But he said to me, I think I should add 1878 to it because that's when your team was founded. Well, like he didn't say that, but you know what I mean? That's when it all started, wasn't it? Your club started. And I said, I'm not sure, like it'd work. And he went, no, yeah, this is the design. So I don't know if any of you's got a tattoo, but he did the paint thing where you see what it'd look like, and then he fills it in. So yeah, so I wouldn't have had the little 1878
Ah,
there.
right, yeah.
I wouldn't have had that if it wasn't for the artist who did it. And as I said, he didn't know football or anything, he didn't know anything about Everton, and he'd gone away and in that week had researched all about it. And I thought that's a really nice touch for him to
Yeah,
do
that
that.
was
He
a reassured you, like.
obviously really cares. So yeah, I went and had it. And have any of you got tattoos?
No.
Yeah,
No.
I don't even class it as one, mate. So
Yeah.
God. I've got one.
there you go. At least
Yeah.
you've got one.
That's a nice.
Yeah, that sounds.
After that, Sam, did you get like, I want more? Because people say they're quite addictive. I've not been rushing to get more. I do want more, but I've not been like, I haven't rushed out to the nearest tattoo shop to get more done.
I've got 5, but I need my teenage ones covering up before I do anything else, really. Like I've got teenage ones on me, and yeah, I just need to earn enough money to have a really big, nice cover up of the shocking ones.
Same. Mine was so bad at times. Like I remember when me and Haley got together, it was about a year we went for our first holiday in Egypt, and I was that paranoid with it. Like I put like a plaster on it so no one could see it and everything because I was that paranoid about how crap it is.
Oh.
It's just like it's like the letter D written in calligraphy. And I've every time I look at him, like, what were you gonna do with your life? Because I got it done when I was pissed in Town near Brill when I was 16, and the fella put it on, and it was that painful. I started crying. It was just, it doesn't even make sense what happened with that.
It's like your personal history etched on your body, isn't it? Like that's you being pissed in 16. That's, you know, it's like rings on a tree or bumps on a car or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
it
just
is. I think that's a fair point. And as long as it's on my leg, I can always cover it, I suppose. So, like, I don't know if you'd have to walk around where you are, Warren, with just with a vest on all the time, so you can show everyone with that.
When I first got it, every opportunity I had, I like that lifting my sleeve up. Oh, I've seen this, and now I just forget it's there. Yeah.
Did you do it at the boys' cricket game?
Yeah. All right, lads, how are you? Like that, yeah. Showing a tattoo off, yeah.
And the thing is, as well, no matter how much anyone regrets any tattoos they had, it can't be as bad as that fella who had Jurgen Klopp looked like he was about to bite into his nipple, which was actually an amazing tattoo. But why? Why would you get that?
Yeah.
I think as well with stuff like that. All right, he takes a lady or a gent back to his house. Things are getting heated. He whips his top off. You're suddenly confronted with Klopp looking like he's going to bite into his nipple. It's like, it's going to kill any mood, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd hope so anyway.
Wasn't expecting this at 10:15 on a Saturday morning.
I kept thinking of, like, you know, he's going down on someone and you've got Jurgen Klopp just sort of tickling
Staring
the
at
inside
you.
of your thigh.
You look up and Klopp's looking back at you. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
that takes me back so randomly in school. Something like, it might be a joke that everyone's heard these days, I don't know, but you know, when like people said you got a tattoo on your knob, and like, you know, when you just get in the shower it said lad on it, but when you got an erection it says landlord. No. It's one of my favourites back in the day, that.
It is a belter.
Oh God, I actually knew the first one I thought of was, I knew a girl when I was about 17, so she must have been as well. And for a 3-month anniversary with a partner, they both got the words "your name" tattooed on their asses. Like, I think it was like a Jackass thing. So
Yeah,
whoever
right.
looks at your ass, it says. Also, those tattoos last forever. Just like, just dying like a joke on a fridge for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's a bad tat.
Yeah, it is. I tell you what, we've been married. We only got married last year, but we've been together 15 years now. And I think about 6 months into us seeing each other, Haley got my name on her wrist. And like at the time, it's like all nice and exciting and all that. But when we've had some massive Barneys, like everyone has an eye where you're thinking, I can't be doing with this anymore. I was thinking, at least I've always got that on it. You're gonna look
Yeah,
okay, you're gonna have to go and find someone called David for the rest of your life.
That's it. Ben has asked, which Everton signing exceeded your expectations the most? Dave.
You're asking me that for a reason, aren't you? Because you want me to say Jack Harrison.
No, it wasn't actually, but no, yeah, go ahead.
Signing that's exceeded expectations. That's a really, really good question. That I think might be a controversial one. I'm going to throw in James McFadden because I think we got him as a quite promising young Scottish lad who don't think anyone thought much. I mean, he didn't get on. I think we got him for like 1.5 million or something like that.
Yeah.
And he came down as a bit of a prospect. Didn't really play. But he used to get some finesse from that lad, I tell you. I think he's very unspoken of, really. Everyone remembers that goal against Charlton that got us in Europe last day of the season. That was outstanding, that, where he just dinks it over their defender's head and volleys it in. That was ridiculous, that game, because they equalised like 2 minutes before that in the last minute, and you're thinking, yeah, there's no Europe for us this year. He also, I think, he always looked to me, and he won't listen to this, like, but I do speak to him quite a bit with work. He just never ever seemed quick. He just seemed like to get the ball and just walk with it. But I remember also he scored an absolute peach. Do you remember that game where Beattie scored that chip against Fulham from about 15 yards out? That same game, he scored. McFadden scored a volley from about 30 yards out as well. It was an absolute stunner. I remember for the Scots loved him as well, I think, because he scored a screaming against France away.
It was 1-0 win, wasn't it?
Yeah, when Scotland went on a little mad run of being really good, in like what the early 2000s. So yeah, I'm going to throw him in. I thought he was better than what we get. I just thought he was like a bit of a token signing there with a few quid we had left. But he turned out to be good. Came back for the second time as well, which is a bit mad.
He did.
A bit like Gravison, played about 10 games, but I do remember he scored at Old Trafford, and we got a 1-1 draw because he scored like a shit goal. So yeah, I remember.
Yeah, shout that. Sam?
Oh, Baines by absolutely miles. By like, just there was nothing on YouTube other. There was him missing that penalty for Wigan, and there was him pissed up in a nightclub that someone had done on the phone. And it was when we were linked with Fernandez, and he looked really, really good. And no, we got the fella who's just leathered and shy. So
Yeah,
he's just a penalty misser who, has to get lashed to get over his privileged shyness, smashing. But no, he was just. It's really beautiful when you see a player develop like that as well.
Yeah.
You can see them develop over the course of their career, and I think it was just really beautiful. So yeah, it's just no contest for me.
Yeah, that's a shout.
Also, I mean, do you remember how long it took for him actually establish himself as well?
Yeah, Lescott was in for ages, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, and everyone thought, why have we got this? A bit like, hopefully, compared to what Patterson's like, hopefully he gets that sort of euphoria that we got with Baines in the end. But I always remember with Baines, when we signed him from Wigan, he scored one of the best shots I've seen from about, I don't know, must be at least 35 yards out.
Yeah.
I think it was against Ipswich.
Ipswich, yeah.
He just, I've not, the only one I've seen him leather as hard was that one at Newcastle. And I was like, what have we got here? And then he didn't play for about 18 months. But when he did, then obviously everything else is history.
I remember seeing him interviewed about one of them, and his summation of it was, I just thought, have it, and it went in. Like, I think that's okay. I think you can overcomplicate these things. Just have it, and it went in.
Yeah. Warren?
I've got two, but one's... I think Stephen Naismith was better than I thought he was going to be. I think when because when it was Moyes' last season, he played him on the wing and he wasn't very effective. And then that year, the first year under Martinez, and he got the Chelsea the hat-trick against Chelsea as well, didn't he? And I thought he was a lot better than people give him credit for. And I think we probably sold him a year or two too early.
Yeah, I reckon.
But the main one for me, I thought he was a bang average player. I didn't see the fuss in him. I didn't see why everyone thought he was that good. And then he came to us and I was a bit like, oh, fine, all right, whatever. It's another body in the side, I suppose. And he ended up being absolutely brilliant. And I wish we had another one like him now. And that was Gareth Barry.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%.
Thought Gareth Barry exceeded, because obviously he was always linked, wasn't he, with Liverpool, because Benitez wanted to get rid of Alonso, didn't he? And then he ended up not signing Barry. And it was probably, annoyingly, probably the best thing for Liverpool in the end. But yeah, that game against Chelsea, when we won, I think it was Martinez's first win as an Everton manager. And we done that back pass, and Etu was through, I think.
Yeah.
And he was ready to score, and Barry just saved it at the end of the day, last minute tackle off the line. And I think that just changed everyone's perception of him then in that moment. It was a bit of an iconic moment, really. And I think after that, everyone was like, actually, he's brilliant. And for that season, him and McCarthy were just outstanding. But yeah, Gareth Barry was, I wish we'd have got him 5 years previous, and I wish we had someone like him now, because he was just a great player, great midfield player for Everton.
The way he just quietly fill in at fullback as well.
Yeah.
Like he didn't get the props for that, but you can't play high fullbacks unless you've got a centre mid that'll just drift over and sort it out.
He's a bit of a key to that Villa as well, early days, wasn't he? I mean, I remember when he started at Villa, he played left back for them. I hate to say it because he was a cop-out, but Milner was a similar type who could, at the start of the career, fill in most places, but then actually end up homed in on the position you get him for, and he was magnificent for us as a defensive midfielder. And like you say, he's one of those. I think you've got maybe similar to just again now, where you're getting these players towards like mid-30s, but they still seem to be getting better and better.
Yeah,
it felt that way with Gareth Barry when we got him initially on loan, wasn't it? But then we got him permanently.
Yeah.
I love that at West Brom, like he was just seen as this kind of flight commander Barry. He was just this calming and like moderate sort of tempering presence. And then when he was at West Brom, he just like fucked off and stole a taxi. it was just so out of character, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, no one saw that coming, did they? Especially not the taxi driver, probably. Just to go back to someone you said there, Warren, that leads us nicely onto the next question from Stu. Which Everton player, and this is based on a Neil Mopay tweet, where he's tweeted it's coming home.
Yeah.
And that commentary guy laughing his head off. So which Everton player, past or present, is the biggest piss boiler? I think Stephen Naismith has got to be up there.
Yeah, Richarlison as well. Richarlison, we was hated. Like, we still love him now, but everyone hates him. Yeah. And everyone's like, he's one of them. He is probably one of them. If he was at anyone else, I probably wouldn't like him. But that whole, I mean, just to cement like your place in Everton fans' hearts, that whole Champions League final coach driver didn't turn up. Richard Arlison, and then he posted a tweet up that someone had photoshopped him driving the bus, laughing his head off. That was just, I mean, for someone like that, an outside, and I always think this, and I tweeted this a while back. I think if an outsider comes in and just gets the psyche and the culture of Everton and of us and how we think and how we feel, and he did, and especially a lads from a completely different continent, and Brazilian lad to do that. I just thought it was fantastic. Yeah, he's probably up there as well, him and Naismith.
Yeah, that is a great
with
show.
Those two as well, they're really decent moral blokes off the pitch. Like Richarlison's really well thought of in Brazil because he's kind of very vocal on social justice and stuff. Naismith, obviously, mini driving kids at state school, helping out in soup kitchens, but they are just the worst winds-up merchants on the pitch, and it's amazing. And I just love that balance. That's a perfect balance. And when I saw this question, I actually Googled Stephen Naismith pointing and laughing, expecting one picture to come up, and there were like 5. It was fantastic. This is something he does on the regular.
Yeah, it was even just when he was playing as well, the amount of free kicks he'd win for absolutely nothing because he'd just stick his arse with the defender and he'd fall over. And it was just that part of the game was fantastic as well.
I love your story about Naismith, Dave, when you and Matt went up to Scotland to interview him, and yous were late or something, and he still made time for you the next day and give you, and it was ahead of the derby, wasn't it? The Hibs
Same
Hearts
day,
derby.
yeah.
Yeah, and he made all that time. I think, as you said, Sam, just all the work he does for homelessness. And when he was with us, he used to open up on Christmas Day, didn't he, and do all the Christmas dinners for. I think things like that just go a long way with me and a lot of other people, obviously.
I think he still does it every single year. He does that Christmas dinners for Yellow House, isn't it? Still, he still does it to this day, which is incredible. He's a manager now as well, isn't he? So he's
the type of fella who could come back and he could introduce him at half time. The whole ground would applaud him, wouldn't he?
Massively
he's,
so.
He's that type of player, isn't he?
He's the sort of fella to come to Goodison and score for the away team and the whole ground would applaud him.
Do you not remember
that
this
went too far.
happening?
That went
like
too far.
when he came back for Norwich, that was
I walked into that one, didn't I?
Yeah,
I walked into that one.
Mate, I was ready. Like anyone who gets any sort of sentimental shite when they come back to Goodison, I don't want to see them ever again.
I knew to kick you off.
Yeah,
you would have hated me at Spurs away. I was applauding Richarlison at the end when he came over.
Oh, that Richarlison goal, mate! I was like, why are you all clapping?
The Spurs away one after the game, he came over and he didn't have to.
I don't care. I don't care.
You've got it. I've got it. I'm sorry. It gets me there, Dave. It gets me. It gets
mate,
me, Dave.
You get that tattoo ripped off you, mate. That's a disgrace. That I can't stand. I can't stand it. I'd be fuming. If I was a Spurs fan. Be seething, absolutely seething. Why'd you go, mate? Why'd you go if you're that arsed? Don't want you. Don't want to see you again. Leave me alone.
Did you see Richarlison's reply to Kevin Campbell?
I mean, that sort of thing's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, just I want
the Anfield thing, the Anfield goal thing. Yeah, welcome to the club.
The winner at Anfield, and it wasn't. Yeah. It was that he was so respectful about it that Kevin Campbell was like, "Welcome to the club." Yeah, it's an honour, Mr. Campbell. It absolutely broke me. That.
Yeah, but where have you been then, Richarlison, in your peak years? Happy to get off where you mates go down to London, yeah.
I don't think he was. I think that was one of those things where it didn't benefit.
Don't say it. Don't say the club needed to sell him.
Sell him, yeah.
He did.
You're telling me
I'm sticking to that story.
Me too. Anyway,
listen, I don't blame him for wanting to go. I'd come and score against us and then start clapping and putting your head down and walking back. He's really highly respected for doing that, mate. And do you know why? Do you know what? Just continuing there on the tangents. That's why I'll always love Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy is one of the best piss boilers ever.
He is very good.
The one that sticks in my mind is when he scored away at Palace. And because who else? I don't know. He's played for about 900 different teams, hasn't he? But he scored a winner for Leicester quite late on away at Palace. And he runs along their ends, we have to have them fucking hooligan fans or whatever they like to call it. He ran along like that, acting like he was an eagle. He kept on flapping his hands like that as he ran past them all. I was like, that's just top class, that. He just didn't give a shit. But going back to the question, and again, I might get slated for this, Ross Barkley. But Ross Barkley...
You love Ross Barkley.
Shut up.
Too.
He's the biggest rat ever. You love him. You want him back and everything.
Yeah.
Listen, mate, after what I've just said about Richarlison, absolutely not. But...
Do you remember the run into the end of the season? All Dave was going on about was Ross Barkley's going to affect Everton's season. Ross Barkley's going to score. Ross Barkley's going to do this. Dave's desperate for him to come back.
Shut up.
Desperate.
Shut up. People have said it. People have said they want him back. I don't know why I'm doing this with my finger all the time, by the way. But it was when he scored that ridiculous goal away at Newcastle, when he ran the whole length.
Yeah.
And it looked like Lukaku was fuming that he didn't lay it off. So if he didn't score, he might have had his head cut off. But when he scored that, because it's Newcastle, which we have we do have hatred towards Newcastle, don't we? And he just ran with the finger over his lips all the way down to the corner flag. Love anything like that. So I didn't mind.
Oh my God, I've just remembered his pre-celebration when he beat the keeper.
Bournemouth,
yeah,
the Stars, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was going to start a trend and more people were going to do it, and at some point someone was going to do it and miss.
Yeah, he must start a fuming, didn't he? It's disrespectful.
Yeah, but like it really sort of ingrained that no one else has got the bollocks to do that.
Yeah.
Like you really have to believe in yourself.
Yeah, I think the next player, because that was on quite a tight angle as well, that. Because
Yeah.
the next player
No,
I
it
remember
wasn't,
doing it
Les.
was thingy, Neil Mopay.
Mart-
No,
and
not Neil Mopay.
Martinelli.
Oh,
Right with
Martinelli.
Neil. At Brighton.
Martinelli did it for
Oh, did he?
Arsenal as well. Yeah,
Oh,
this
did he?
season. Well,
Yeah,
season just
McNeil
gone.
did it at Brighton, but he was basically on the
Yeah.
on the goal line when he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely couldn't miss.
No.
Just on Ross Barkley there, though.
Oh, for God's sake, Dave, we're not interested.
Worth having a look
We're
at.
not
We're
interested,
skint.
Dave.
I reckon Ross, listen, his mum still lives up the road. I don't know, there might be a chance there.
No. Come on, next
Decent
question.
player.
Let's go.
Right, we'll move on.
What was my quote while he's at Luton, saying that he played like Iniesta for them every week?
Yeah, but
To do with something like that.
Luton, breath of fresh air.
Listen,
Absolute shite. Right, we'll have two more, and then we'll carry the rest over. So a little bit more politics then. Given that the UK Gilts report that the 15-year gilt yield increased by plus 37 basis points to 4.65%, could then tell us during April 2024, how much of a cunt is John Aldridge?
Hey, still not blocked by him on Twitter, so I'm doing something
Sorted,
wrong.
lad. Bloody hell.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I need to do something about that,
Oh
don't
God,
I?
that's the point. I'm going to check.
We'll move on from that one. I won't draw Dave.
Can't really talk about that.
Chris has asked, what's the worst pronunciation of an Everton player's name? Kevin Ratcliffe used to murder some of them on Channel 5. Jagielka was one.
Jagielka, it was, yeah.
But that's
Apparently that's
how
the
you
real
pronounce
way you say it.
Yeah.
It should be.
That blew me. I watched that again before, and it blows me mind, that translation. Jagielka. Yeah. Mad.
I hated Andre Gomes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gomes. No,
Yeah.
Gomes. Yeah.
Anyone that says Barcelona, they can like it.
Billy
And I found myself doing that recently, and I must have been around someone who did it, and then I just thought, no, fucking sort yourself out. Don't.
Oh God, it's horrible, isn't it? I've done that in work. I can't remember what I said, but I came out with some really wanky corporate marketing phrase, and like just had to check myself. Like, whoa, hang on, just stay back in there. It's horrible when it happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Sam,
the
you've
thing
got
about
some
doing it,
thoughts on
though,
this one, haven't you?
Sorry, I was just going to say with stuff
the
like
mispronunciation.
That's the thing.
I'll find it. I think
However it's said.
Yeah, that took a while, that one.
Yeah, but it's non-Everton ones that wind me up most because they're not difficult to say. De Bruyne, I think, is fairly easy to say, but Iheanacho, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every single time, it's like, it's like nails on a blackboard. I'm like, Iheanacho is not hard to say. Why you say it Iniacho or whatever? It's like, this isn't difficult. It's like people who can't say nuclear or there's just some words that people can't get their mouths around. Oh, it really winds me up.
In school, for some reason, like in primary school, we used to have like quite a few kids who'd say chimley instead of chimney.
Yeah.
Which was weird. And I've never heard it like before or since. It was like a little phase. It was odd.
On the footy one as well.
Sketty.
Paschetti.
Mementos.
And Nketiah at Arsenal as well. People seem to struggle with that.
Yeah. We've had a lot of Braithwaite this year as well, haven't we? Jared Braithwaite.
All the Braithwaites.
Yeah. We've had a lot of that.
And it's not hard. It says in the letters.
It's got an N.
Like,
it's all there, isn't it?
Just look at those letters, mate.
Yeah, just read. Yeah.
Although I've had to do a lot of work on the tennis and the women's world #1. And I always forget how you say a surname, but it's ridiculously different to what the letters are. Swiatek, a name really is. Swiatek, a name is the way in which you should say it. But if you look how it's spelled, it's like Swiatek, I think. So you say it completely different to what a name actually looks like.
This is the thing. Everyone can pronounce Højbjerg because they've made the effort, and those letters don't say Højbjerg. But
no.
Oh, I am blocked by John Aldridge.
Yes.
I worked for over a decade, and he blocked me.
Amazing.
Just for the laugh, apparently.
I always think like because Irish names they never look like what they are, what they spell. like Siobhan and Neve and all that.
Yeah.
But I always think as well of the you know, the town in Wales, the longest town name in Wales,
Oh, the Llangolgol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you just got
That's-
that right?
No, God, no. But it's on it's the weatherman, isn't it? The weatherman, the famous clip of the weatherman saying it, and he says it perfect. Have you ever seen it?
No.
No, it's people probably have, but yeah, it's like a 26 letter town.
Yeah, I know the
name.
one.
Yeah, but he
There's no
says it
need for it.
perfectly. No.
And there's about one vowel in the whole thing.
Yeah.
So Dave has said the new lad's name that we signed is pronounced Erog Bunam. Erog Bunam?
Yeah, that's
Bunam?
I went on to Google, and you know when you just press play and he said it about 18 times, and
yeah.
I still couldn't get it right for the show we did the other day.
Did you see did you see that it was the Georgia Turkey game the other day, and someone put the starting 11 up with the Georgia team and said, "Glad I'm not commentating on this game," because every name was like at least 10 letters long, the surnames, and they were all mad. It's like they would have had to study that or write it phonetically, so they got it right.
Yeah.
I reckon I just end up, you know, when you read a book and you just do that thing where you just like make the name up because you can't pronounce it. I reckon I just end up doing that.
It's like
Or just
it's
the
like
numbers.
it's like that really lazy British thing happens when like someone comes over from, you know, India or Asia or something, and their name's like Santish or something. And well, we're just gonna call you Fred.
Precky.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what Billy
Precky them.
Yeah,
Billy
we're just-
Eletinoff did that. Do you remember when he came
Yeah.
in? Like no one could do his second name, and he just said,
That's-
"Just call me Billy."
That's a really long name. We don't know how to pronounce it. We're not going to bother trying to learn it. So we're just going to call you Steve.
Yeah.
with the Balkan names in for the commentators, I do understand that is, you know, that's difficult and it takes effort and thought. But did you see this week Lee Dixon confused Bosnia and Serbia?
Oh God, yeah.
Epitomises Lee Dixon, that though, really, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? There's just some you really want to get right.
Yeah,
he got in massive trouble in the States, Lee Dixon, because he does the commentary for NBC. And do you remember who was the fella in charge of Chelsea used to smoke on the touchline? The older fella with the glasses.
Oh God, yeah. The Italian
so, yeah. So they cut to him on the thing, and
he used to eat them and everything, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he's like that, obviously doing it. And Lee Dixon on American national TV goes, he likes a fag, the Chelsea manager.
Oh
God.
And they had to apologise and say he's used the term that in the UK means cigarette. And he was like more, you could see on his face, he was
you'd be devastated,
mortified.
wouldn't you?
He was mortified, but he had to do like one of them full-on proper apologies. Yeah. Lee Dixon.
Did you hear that bit of commentary the other day from Stephen Warnock?
Yeah.
When he goes,
almost said fuck or something.
Thank goodness for that.
Brilliant.
Right, we'll leave it there on that Stephen Warnock bombshell. We've got a couple more, but we'll pick them up next time, I think. So yeah, that's it for this week's mailbag. Thanks to Sam, thanks to Warren, thanks to Dave. We'll catch you next time.